DDG or NCLG or an NCLG, you're gonna you might see an NCLS, an E or a G, but you're not gonna see those without carriers. So you might see a CVL, but yeah, I mean, as someone who plays hydrants, I understand.
Oh yeah, hydrants with their freaking hellbore. Screw those, you dirty hippies.
I am a dirty hippie. Thank you very much.
Hey, Kai, how do you feel about having a game that's a tactical based war game where every game you play is a 4,000 or 3,000 point game that it could decide the fate of the nation, but tomorrow night we'll do the same miserable game with the same shitty terrain, the same shitty arrangement? I want to know how you really feel about this. We're doing an Armageddon Warhammer 40K or battles with 2 carrier escorts on the Federation side versus a team up of the Tholians and the Romulans. Have fun, Captain Kirk.
Honestly, it's something a fun game. Honestly, if you can actually put a full Federation carrier battle group onto a map, good. Congratulations, everything's gonna be fun. Do I also get Are we also running F-111s today? That would also be fun because that means what?
His zinnies all day long.
Oh, Zins are definitely all day long.
Zinnies with their damn drones. How many drones do you have? I don't know.
Because there's only one ship you need to worry about when you're playing Zin as the SDF, the drone bombardment frigate. You don't need anything else. You need only that and as many drone. Type 3 drones.
Wait. How many wild weasels am I going to pack?
You're going to run out of wild weasels before I run out of drones. Yeah, and I will play any Starbase assault mission. It's like, oh, it's a fully loaded Starbase. I'm like, cool. Zins, drone bombardment cruisers everywhere, and everyone else. Oh, this is gonna suck. I'm like, yeah. I hope you're gonna run out of the game will be over before I run out of drones. I will reload and then fire more.
I need ADDs. I need ADDs. I need crybabies. I mean wild weasels, and I need some other guys fleet in front of me before I take on that nonsense.
Yes, but guess what? You only have X number of shuttles. I have more drones. I have all the drones, and all you can do is sit back and do what? I'm a Zin. I have more power than you. I go faster than you. I don't have weapons to charge. You charge after me, I run away and just fire my range 3,000 drones. Fuck off.
What is your okay? Is Zinni your favorite? Let me start with this. Is Zinni your favorite race to play in Starfleet, or do you have others? Because there's 10 to 15 just out of book. Plus, it has the ability to make your own race in Starfleet, where you can make races that make no damn sense but to you.
Now, just look at the map and look just Zin, Lyrans, and Hydrants. Those are my races right there. So if you just want to know what I play, what?
Gorn. Gotta throw the Gorn in.
Those pirate stealing bastards.
Orions? No.
No.
I would play Gorn. Oh, Gorn are awesome.
Oh.
But I would play Romulans, but nobody wants to ever play cloaking rules properly, so no.
Yeah, where are you on the board? I don't have to tell you.
I do have to give you an idea where I am, but are you actually playing with EW rules properly? No? Then we're not playing Romulans. So I'm just going to go play Flight of the Vampires over here with the Zin. Fuck off.
I'm sorry. I got one race I keep playing.
What's that?
What do you think it is? Just knowing my personality.
Klingon?
Klingons? No.
I play Klingons, but I've gotten really good at it. My favorite thing to do.
Okay.
Ridged or unridged?
Puerto Rican.
Oh, come on. Now, okay, yeah. The part was, now, favorite Klingon cruiser,
D7 battle cruiser.
Okay, no. What model? Come on, this is Starfleet here. This is Starfleet Battles here. Come on. You gotta give me variants here. Like, what's your actual what's the model you like? Like D7D, like D7D, D7C. Come on.
D7D.
Oh, you like drum bombardment cruiser? Okay, we're friends again. Okay, this is good.
The world is happy. I am satiated.
Well, no. Well, my favorite thing to do is because for those who don't know Starfleet Battles, it is an impulse-based game, and there's 32 impulses in one turn. Now, one turn can take anywhere from an hour to fuck my life.
And then the accounting phase starts.
Right.
Oh, no. The accounting phase is a hell of a lot easier than the old school.
Well, old school is not bad. It's what you're.
No.
32 plus 4 batteries plus.
Wait.
Your APR is 5, so that's 39.
No. Stop. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh.
I'm talking about the old school Starfleet Battles.
Commander's Edition?
Yes, where you had to sit and calculate everything in spreadsheet for each impulse of exactly how much power you were using. It took an entire weekend, and you just got into battle.
Oh no, I love that. I love kind of all my warp boxes and all my impulse boxes, and all my APR, AWRs, and I love figuring all that. And then fire control, EW, life support, teleporters, tractor beams.
Oh, no. Forget your teleporters because no one's going anywhere. No points are needed.
High energy turn plus
5 points.
Shield reinforcement, specific reinforcement, bubble reinforcement. Oh, God, I love that game.
No. Every Tuesday I play this game. Then I go and play Babylon 5, which is
even crazier.
But Starfleet Commander, no, I know the shit you're talking about there, Baron. Like I said, you count your warp, then your APR, then your impulse, then you add your battery, then you go from heavy weapons to life support, fire control. I'm sorry, armor, fire control. And I can see the sheet in my head.
Yeah. No,
and shit's like what I get myself into.
Starfleet Commander is so nice, but old Captain Edition Starfleet Battles is like the greatest game ever. Because like I'm gonna play just 2 ships. That's all we're gonna play this weekend, and it's gonna be great. So yeah. And then, but we used to have a group of people who were so good at it that we got to like get like in a weekend like a whole 6 or 7 turns of actual SFB down in a single day, and it was great.
I know Starfleet Commander has the opportunity to make it a campaign like RP, but we can't get past blowing the shit out of each other.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, that's the whole point of the game. We're just there to throw spaceships at each other until something blows up.
So tonight on TableBreakers, we're talking about sci-fi and sci-fi games that you might enjoy.
Starfleet Battles is not one of them. That is for masochists. I am a masochist.
I was hearing Kai ramp up, and I could tell that he was getting full phasers or full power to his anger and his adrenaline. So I'm like, oh shit, he's talking about ST. He's talking about ST. I gotta kick it on. Monkey. And so I had him slap it, and we started streaming, and that was 9 minutes ago, and it was great.
Look, I don't get to talk about Starfleet with a lot of people because it's an older game. God, it's an older game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't play it anymore.
Yeah, because everybody else is like dead or in retirement homes now who played that game. So it's beautiful. But it's one of my like 3 games I played that were science fiction-y that I still get to play. It's great.
Do you have the Tome of Madness that goes with it? The 800-pound page of rules?
100 pages? Wow.
No, I said 800 pages.
We're playing, okay, 800, yes. But that's still packed away. I haven't had a chance to unpack the SFB manuals yet. Which used to be like a stack this tall. It's like, it's huge. It's glorious.
After that madness, Bruce, do you wish to host the madness and keep the train on the tracks?
Well, I'm going to ask. You guys are discussing one of my favorite but not often played games, Starfleet Battles. And tonight's entire theme, we're discussing sci-fi games. Episode 20. We want to discuss sci-fi stuff. And when I mean sci-fi, I'm not talking about like space opera, Star Wars, or like Serenity, Yeehaw in space. I'm talking about good sci-fi. So I was expecting like Star Trek, Traveler. I'm expecting things that like my geeky friends from Peoria that failed the engineering test in third year of college. I want those fuckers in here, like, hi, Connell, how you doing? I want those guys to be in here because seriously, that is such a rich and fun group of people because they have passion for their game. They are more amped up about Starfleet battles than first edition release of Shadowrun Gen Con 88. Hey, Legion Myth, how you doing? Shadow and Sons in chat, hello. And oh man, Star Trek 3 Combat Sim, that was really good. No, Shadow and Son, you're not that old, but it's okay, buddy. Even if you are seasoned, we feel like we're young until we hit like, early morning rolling out of bed. Oh God, that's not supposed to pop there. Oh,
there's a staircase for me to be in the bathroom. This is gonna suck. Waddle, stumble, all those stairs.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Stumble, roll. Stumble, fall. Oh, we're talking sci-fi, not pirate. Sorry.
Starfleet Battles. How do you guys prefer to play Starfleet Battles? Kai.
I would prefer a small squadron of ships, a cruiser plus 2 escorts, engaging another cruiser and 2 escorts, and operating along that. Preferably a meeting engagement, usually for that, and then we just run. I run from there, depending on how many players we got and how many people want to be playing. Because most people can run 2 to 3 ships without having a mental breakdown. So. Beyond that, like asking one person to run like 6 ships, no, that's just too much. That's too much. You need like a staff of idiots at that point. But yeah, but I'm also a carrier operations player, so I really enjoyed running, strike fighters. That's like the best thing. And everyone else goes, I hate these things, and I go, I love them. I love launch recovery, reloading, diverting all this crew deck. I should be like. I just want to have a ship forward. I don't want to have a separate sheet of paper just for you to like figure out what impulse of loading you're on for reloading. I'm like, you're boring. No.
So for Kai, you have two carrier groups or 2 cruiser groups. We'll just say that.
Yes.
How long will it take 2 players that are intermediate level players? How long will it take them to get through?
A weekend.
Wow.
A weekend.
Okay.
You're talking the old school, not the newer ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played much of the new one. All I know is the 32 impulse per turn accountancy worksheet of Doom. Right. Players that aren't just trying to fly in a straight line to range 1 to 0, and then roll. And then unload each other. I'm assuming 2 players know how to do the Klingon little liberty wobbles. That way you can like bring your guns to bear and keep your shields from getting knocked out. And the Fed player doesn't just go, I just charge straight forward and then overload, and then that's all I'm going to do. Because that's boring.
Klingons only have an FA range on the disruptors, and if you're lucky enough, you might have 2 phaser 2s up front. 2 phaser 1s, maybe 2 phaser 2s in the back. So then you got technically 4 disruptors off the wings.
Well, yeah. You have wing arc, boom guns, wing phasers, rear phasers, drone racks. So it's been a while since I've actually had a chance to play. So I'm trying to remember. I remember the D7's actual SSD from memory. Sorry.
I play it every Tuesday because I'm a masochist.
The fact that I can actually almost remember how it looks, I haven't seen it in like a good 5 years, is pretty good, actually. So, Epic Space Marines, yes.
Sorry for taking over your answer there, Kai.
Oh, God, no. It's just open. Yes, those are great games. Those are great.
Hey, Bruce. You want to see something fun? Hit my share. Watch Kai's face.
Uh-oh. What are we doing?
Oh my God!
Yes.
All right.
That's a good ship.
Oh,
I love that.
One.
That's good ship.
That's more or less the sheet. Let's see. There's
I
35 warp, 4 APR, 1, 2, 3, 5 impulses.
And Romulans that can actually turn. That's great.
Right, yeah.
I figured that would be a plus there, so that would make him happy.
Oh yeah. I really enjoy the hell out of that game. It's like playing chess but on a different level.
It's slow motion murder, and I love it.
And it's not that we don't like BattleTech. We do like BattleTech, Max.
I do.
Of
We
the
do?
people that are here, I don't believe any of us have a character name for our YouTube handle that love it that much. Mr. Max of House Liao.
Well, what? How many here have actually played Robotech with a raise of hands?
Robotech or BattleTech?
BattleTech.
Both.
Both.
There's your answer for this panel.
Look. I'm currently having a young kid who wants to play St. Ives Compact, and I'm happy to help him paint his miniatures now for it. And now he's like, but I need a good Op 4. I'm like, Op 4? I'm like, I already have this. And then pull out, McCarran's Armored Cavalry. And I'm like, here you go. Here's an Op 4. Why do you already have that ready to go? And I'm like, no questions. No questions.
No questions are allowed.
You didn't ask enough questions, and now House Liao has arrived.
That's because
Shadow and
we
Sun
can
has
also
both
fight
Epic
it.
and Titanicus.
What do we count as sci-fi games? Just out of dumb curiosity, does it have to be actually in outer space? Does it have to be cyber tech?
At least have the technology which is 20 years past our own.
So was it Shadowrun?
Shadowrun?
I would say that doesn't fit into sci-fi. That sits in to more of like a cyberpunk, which is about 5 years down the road.
Which version of Shadowrun were you talking about? Boomer Tech or the current weirdo game? I don't like to do that.
I haven't played Shadowrun in the better part of 17 years. So
Renegade Legion? Yes. God, no person has Renegade Legion on their mind. Yes, please.
So we're talking Starfleet, Star Trek, Starfleet, Star Wars, Stargate.
I masturbate to Star Wars enough as is, so we can probably skip that for tonight.
I do have the map for the solar system for the Expanse that actually has communication delay between planets and average time between planets based on G-force of acceleration. So that's nice.
So, okay. I'm just like...
What? What's so funny?
I don't know.
No, it's just you pulled that out, and now Connell is completely speechless. He's like,
I don't know.
He isn't talking any better than Rocky did at the end of those fights. I'm just saying.
If you're playing a space sci-fi game, it's communication delay. You cannot. There is no such thing as FTL sensors, and FTL communication doesn't exist either. So therefore, if it takes if they're 5 seconds away, and it's fucking 5 seconds communication lag, and your sensors are seeing 5 seconds ago, you don't fucking get to have this magical bullshit of Star Trek where we're seeing into the future. Shit. No.
We're watching old Japanese kung fu films for communication. You see the mouth moving, but it takes about a second delay for the words to come out. Gotcha.
Unless it's the Honorverse.
Then it's, yes, if it's the Honorverse, then it's like, well, good luck.
I am playing that this coming Tuesday night. I am playing a home-brewed version of the Honorverse with cigar tubes that only shoot from the broadside, and they have lasers, gazers, and missiles.
Oh, I don't have it in here. Oh, there it is. 1 second. 1 second.
Kai has already written this game. He's waiting for these people to approve his manuscript.
Little Star Kingdom Manticore flag, because you got to be able to have it to wave it every once in a while. Just chill out.
So, I know Bruce last night when we were talking about how did you get into the hobby. I know you said your introduction was Starfleet. Was it Star Wars? Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Star Wars D6 system.
What about you, Baron? What was your first sci-fi game?
My first sci-fi game?
First game.
No, first sci-fi game. Well, we're staying with the sci-fi aspect.
Okay. Actually, it would have been Traveler First Edition.
I can honestly say with great regret, I've never played Traveler. I might have to fix that.
It's worth it. Just try it. It's a pick an edition. Doesn't matter. Just try it.
All right.
Pour one out for my homies.
Yes.
What about you, Kai? First sci-fi. We're sticking with the sci-fi theme tonight.
First sci-fi game. I'm going to say first edition Rogue Trader was my first sci-fi game.
Wow, that late?
No, first edition, as in Games Workshop, 1980s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rogue Trader first edition. So, Warhammer 40K before it became Warhammer 40K.
Okay. What about you there, Jade? What was your first sci-fi, not sci-fi fantasy, straight sci-fi game?
Ooh, oh man, set the way back machine. God. My first science fiction game was science fiction fantasy, but it was we stayed more science fiction than we went into the fantasy. It was called Dragon Star by Fantasy Flight Games. It was published in late 90s, early 2000s. I don't remember the exact publication date. I can't find my books either. But that was my first foray into science fiction gaming.
All right. Well, I guess I should answer my own bloody question. Technically, without knowing it, my first sci-fi game was the game that that gentleman just said, Dragon Star, because he did a 3-4 night game once. It didn't pan out for other reasons. But that's technically my first. The next one would have to be that I actually remember was a mutual friend of ours named Todd. He ran Dark Heresy, and I believe that's sci-fi.
Oh yeah, that's in the 40K universe.
It's grim dark sci-fi.
We were playing that with Repo the Genetic Opera playing in the background. It was a really weird scenario.
Yeah,
seems legit.
Now we rapidly moved past Rogue Trader and went over to Renegade Legion, BattleTech, and Star Wars D6. Those were like the 3 core games for a long time. And every once in a while, there's part of the rotation that D&D would fall in. It's like, so it'd be D&D sci-fi game, D&D a sci-fi game. And that was our junior high, high school, or alternating back and forth because we like space combat. We like shooting laser beams. But we also like stabbing people with sharp objects, and that's how it worked back and forth.
Yeah, I like sharp objects. I mean, all right. So that was how we got into it. I guess my next question was it from watching the show and realizing that there's a game that goes with it, or playing the game and realizing that there's sometimes a show to go with it?
Wait. For what game is your question targeting?
Any game, any sci-fi game, Star Wars, Star Trek.
There's never been a Traveler TV show.
Well, there was that one that BBC came out. I'm pretty sure it's nothing like Traveler, but they were in space and had a cat person. It was kind of cool.
Well,
that's called White Dwarf.
Red Dwarf,
Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Red Dwarf. Yeah. White Dwarf was their publication for GW.
Or a game that thinks that if gamers aren't broke, fix it.
Yeah. Oh, you're not broke. You have
still
money.
have money?
We shall take
Release another edition of the Space Chaos Dwarfs.
Release another codex.
I've always been amazed by, really quick, I've always been amazed by a lot of these sci-fi games. Just the figs. I like figs. I like figs of all kinds. But some of these ships that they come out with over the last years, it be metal or plastic, are absolutely gorgeous once they get painted up.
I mean, Space 1999 could be made in a Traveler. I'm pretty certain that happened in a lot of gaming stores in the 80s and 90s. I'm almost completely certain that happened because of the events that happened in Space 1999. Mainly the second season when the moon went away.
I mean, isn't that the
far away?
I'm always sad because I never get anyone to play this game. This is the one I keep wanting people to play, but not anymore.
I know that game.
Renegade Legion Leviathan. Renegade Legion's capital ship combat, which is slow, miserable, and lethal, and I love it.
Well, and on that point, if you're gonna be doing that, you can break out, the Starmada rules and
Drop Fleet Commander is also on the list. But of games I want to play, but can't find people to play.
Hey, you got 4 people right here that could figure out how to play these games with you.
Yeah. Now comes the problem. Time.
See, time is a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Well, until you can get a TARDIS to come over and pick my ass up so I can game for a weekend, and then come back to work the next day, that'd be cool. But
well, if we can attach the TARDIS to the castle in Connecticut that we talked about in some other podcast, that'd be amazing.
Oh, playing drop ships would be fun.
Hey, what do you guys think about Spelljammer?
You know what? To be fair,
the original.
If I can find a DM that will run that the same way as that cartoon that we talked about last night, Pirates of the Dark Waters, and I could be a monkey, the monkey kind, or the monkey, whatever the fuck their names is, I'd run it. I'd play it. I don't care. I'm curious about the world. If I can find the right DM, that's any system out there. You can find the right DM. You can take a piece of shit and shine it up.
Well, I'm just going to say that Spelljammer, the opening 6 pages of the introduction to Spelljammer is probably the best part of the entire written media of Spelljammer, because it talks about all the writers getting together in Lake Geneva, and they're going to go hang out at like an IHOP or a Waffle House, and they're all excited. They're all jazzed up about this game
Waffle House
setting. Yeah, a Waffle House.
Smothered and covered.
These people are like jazzed about it, and they want to like just get their ideas out there, and so they've all got their spiral bound notebooks because it's like 1992. And nobody has a good laptop, so they're writing all these ideas down. And the waitress is there just kind of listening in. And she says, "Are you guys working with Spielberg? One of my friends said he was in town the other day. And it's one of the best anecdotes of RPG media when you have your fiction writers that are designing a new game setting talking about this game setting, and it makes the people nearby interested and they want to kind of get in on it and listen, because other patrons were listening in to the table as people are writing down ideas about all these weird ships gallivanting through space. So I do recommend, if you get a chance, to read the original books for Spelljammer, but that doesn't mean play it. Check it out, see if it's for you. What?
I don't know. I'll play anything once. If I don't like it, I won't play it. I don't,
Look, Spelljammer has the problem of being, now you've combined science fiction and fantasy. Not science fantasy, like you're just playing some space wizards with laser sword garbage. No, now you're playing with actual real space wizards.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, though. Spelljammer it came before Dragonstar, but I do believe Dragonstar was exceptionally influenced by Starjammer, because a lot of the things that I see out there for Starjammer, I saw in Dragonstar when I played it, and I didn't know it at the time because I'd never experienced Starjammer when it first came out. And a lot to all the people who say it's a piece of crap or this, that, or the other thing. Having never played it, I would have no idea. And I know that WotC has decided that they're going to re-release Starjammer, which kudos to them. It's an IP that hasn't been touched in how long now? I mean, maybe they might do it justice. Maybe they might not. If you don't want to play it, don't play it. If you want to check it out, and do a review on it, deep dive into the rules and figure out how it works. Figure out how to break it even. There's thousands of videos that teach you how to break, all sorts of games. Do one of those videos.
Gosh, yes.
But, saying a game system, especially in one that I've never personally tried, is an absolute piece of garbage, dumpster fire garbage. Like, that's cool, but what if I did want to try it? Now I've got your perception invading
I'm
mine
not shitting
on that.
I'm not shitting on it, but I'm going to tell you that there are parts of the rule book that kind of made you nod your head and say, okay, we'll try to run with this. And the GM I had said, no, we're going to do this instead at these parts. And he had different ideas, which is really how the game, no matter what the setting, no matter what system it is, should be ran. If the guy or girl that's running your game looks at the source material and says, I like everything but this 10 or 5%.
Okay.
And I'm going to fix this part here. And this is how we play.
That's awesome.
Or they look at it and they say, I'm only keeping this 5 or 10%. And here's my addendum on how we play. And everybody's kosher with that. Then everybody was kosher with that and they're playing it. But
awesome. That sounds like a great way to do it.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that sounds like a great way to do it. And if you don't like all of the rules, don't play the system. If you like some of the rules, modify what you don't like. Or if you've bought into the system already and you've already spent your 40, 50, 60 bucks, whatever you've spent, and you're like, well, I hate like half of this book. Okay, mod the rest. Mod the parts that you don't like out.
Much like
that's kind of how I feel about it, because, and I'm not trying to step on you. I'm finishing up my thought here, where I think if people want to play a game that does have nautical combat, be it on the ocean or in space, and that's where your group wants to be at, go for it. Please go for it. Play a game that makes the people at the table mostly happy, except when combat happens and they get hurt or die. And that's all right. I think Kai would be happy with a game like that. But, I always look at Kai's face, because, like, if I say something and Kai starts getting excited, I know I'm going down the right track. But I really enjoyed the nautical combat rules from Spelljammer. I thought those were pretty cool. Like, if two ships encountered each other in the void of space, they would get close to each other, and then they would orient themselves to the larger ship's keel line. And so one ship would orient, and they would start drifting towards each other and go for an unleashing of broadsides, which is generally how that game is played. And it typically resolved pretty well. It had the movement like BattleTech, the initiative like BattleTech that I remember. But, whoever rolls the highest goes to declare actions last but move first and then fire. And then whoever rolled crappy on initiative, they declare first, they move last, they shoot last. And it was pretty cool. It worked really well for the game we played. But if this new game doesn't do well for 5e, I'm sorry. I'm not slinging mud on 5e. I have better things to do than shit on WotC. We've got Amber Heard in popular media pooping on beds. And there's other ways for me to get likes and clicks. So I think I'll go there instead. The current advert that WotC has, I don't approve of. They've told me nothing about Spelljammer, and it really bored me. I don't like sea shanties. I'm all right. So
except for crying gerbil.
I don't care about the gerbil, but we never cared about the giant space hamsters either. We didn't even care about Boo during Baldur's Gate. So I'm just going to say that I've said my piece. If you guys want to talk, go on ahead. Please.
As a guy every Monday that is technically runs 5e as an engine is in 2 different 5e campaigns. I've been playing since 3.5. I'm not a 2nd edition person or 3rd edition. I jumped in at the 3X into Pathfinder, now into 5e. Now, of all the systems out there that have the word D&D in it, I can't stand 4.0, and there might be people out there who love 4.0. I just don't like somebody holding my hand when I'm playing D&D, and if I want to play World of Warcraft, I'll go play World of Warcraft. But that's my opinion. 5e anything is getting a lot of crap because the people behind it. I don't care about the people behind it. If they have a decent writer, they can tell a story that's not too far off the what the fuck was I just drinking, I'll go along with it. If a Spelljammer turns out to be a flop, it's a flop. I'm not buying it, but I'll run if somebody else does because I want to spend time with my friends. And It doesn't matter if it's that or sci-fi or anything else. It's about hanging out with friends. And I said this last night.
I'm going to go off on a slight side tangent to this to go back to an earlier comment that was made about editing your game. For us, when we were playing Star Wars D6, because we were all very, very much competitive TIE Fighter players, TIE Fighter versus X-Wing players, we rewrote the entire space combat engine so that way it better reflected playing TIE Fighter. So suddenly ships started having like adjustable power gauges, and we had paperwork out. We're like writing down conversions for max speeds based on power ratings, shield regeneration rates, weapon rates, lock-on times. When I figure out all this stuff, so that way we converted it all over. And suddenly it's like, are we playing Star Wars anymore? I think on a small level we are, but I don't think we are anymore because now people are like writing down like power levels for their fighters on whether like I want to pull a maneuver off. Like, okay, like figuring out how to do the maneuver properly is like, this is getting complex. And now we have like shield rating points, hull points, points of damage, and like it was such a beautiful game. And like, why? Because rolling 16 higher on an attack roll, like damage versus hull ratings. You roll 16 better, they died automatically. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your pistol just rolls lots and lots of 6s. That X-Wing explodes because you just rolled really, really good. Sorry, Chief. You just died from ground fire. What? You rolled poor, he rolled amazing, and then more amazing, and then more amazing, and then force pointed that for more amazing, and by conversion, you exploded. Well, that's bullshit. And so we wrote this massive revamp of the rules, and I loved every moment of it, and to the point where it's like, yeah, rewrite the game to whatever you wanted. It just happened that we were all now. Would I want to run this engine with anybody who's not like in depthly like backwards and forward knows every little detail of the 1990s Star Wars space combat games? Flight simulators? No, because nobody should ever have to figure out, like, okay, so banking up, locking for type, like, okay, so this is what's going to happen. Like, no one should have to figure that one out. But it was a beautiful way of playing. But I said I would never put that on anybody new, whoever would come into to like, oh, we're playing D6 Star Wars. Fantastic. Throw all that stuff away and go, let's play a nice, fun game.
Okay, so, we've kind of went around on this. What is your favorite system to run as a game master or player for science fiction? Like, what is your favorite? Not what's the one that got you into it. What is your favorite?
Oh, favorite? Ultimate favorite.
Yeah, start with you, Ken.
Ultimate favorite will always be West End game Star Wars. That will always be the best. But if I had to run a game that was not West End game Star Wars, because people are like, I don't want to deal with Jedi, I'd probably run something from DreamPod 9, one of their various engines, because I like the Silhouette engine, even though it does have the you roll low, they roll high, you die modifier. But then again, I like automatic death sometimes in my games, where it's just like, oh, sorry, you got evaporated. Why? Lucky shots. Bad shit happens to you. Luckily, the game engine's fast and easy to make new characters. Roll a new one up real fast. And it's like, buy yourself up a new character real fast. And they're like, but combat's lethal. Guaranteed. Look, they're using a rocket launcher that shoots massive anti-mech missiles. You're a dude. You got hit. Shit happens. Sorry, son. Move on. Oh my God, yes, Silent Death. I forgot all about Silent Death. How can I forget Silent Death? Ugh!
I never forget about Silent Death because it is my favorite space silent skirmish death. It's the best TIE fighter X-wing simulator out there. Yep.
That, and then you can also throw the Armada rules on top of it.
That would be beautiful.
People, I know people who have done it, and it is beautiful because you build your ship in Armada and then you use Silent Death for the actual combat side.
Goals.
Kai's gonna have to go change his pants now. Actually, my sci-fi would actually be Traveler, and it would be Traveler First Edition.
Okay. Any particular reasons, or?
I just like the way the engine works.
Okay.
It's very fluid, and the thing is that you have different tech levels, so you can actually have land on a Stone Age or a Bronze Age planet.
Don't get off the drop ship. Don't get off the shuttle.
Yeah, don't get off the shuttle. And on the other side, you can get off on a tech level, a high tech planet where you don't even have to walk. They've got suits. They've got suits that can attach to you and fly you around wherever you want to go.
A TL-15 world, beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that's the thing is that you can change, and it to me it doesn't get old just for the simple fact of because every planet you go to is going to be different. With the tech level, with what is there, you've got the scoop, to refill your scout. My favorite ship was the scout ship. The modular scout ships, I should say.
Yes.
Where you could just plop whatever you want onto it, and you just use your scoop up, go to the gas giant, skim the atmosphere, scoop up your fuel, and whoop.
You know what I really want to see? I would love to see like an EVE Online Traveler conversion. Would really like that. That would make me happy.
Yeah, but
in your spare time, why don't you make one?
That requires spare time.
Right, guys, spare time. What's spare time?
I know,
This
right?
is my spare time.
What is this? What you're talking about?
Those words mean what you think they mean.
You know what? That's like a goal. That'd be awesome to do. Just start converting starships over, and then start converting the map. Yes, the map.
I'm
New goals.
Actually, I'm torn between two.
Okay.
There's a crossbreed between them. I know Starfleet. I could run Starfleet. Everybody, I'm sorry, but the top speed for this is early days of the war, so there is no special missiles, no special drones, no swordfishes, no whatever. They're just regular drones. Speed 12. Speed 12, so it takes 3 days for the one drone to hit the person. No special captains, straight bones, old school Star Wars. And there'll be a line of races that are playable, and there'll be a line of races that are not playable. This is before we know what Romulans were.
You mean Star Trek, not Star
Yeah.
Wars? Okay.
Yeah, I mean Star Trek. I meant Star Trek. I'm sorry.
So I'll remove his star
One
card.
has daddy issues. One has daddy issues, and the other one has, well, we want everybody to beat the Federation. So it's kind of weird for me.
No, the other one has shut up, Wesley.
Yeah, so it'd be old school. Now, the other one I really enjoy is Babylon 5. Yeah, get out the spreadsheets. I like Babylon 5. Now, somebody had the smart idea to combine Starfleet and Babylon 5. So the sheets that we use are more leaning to Babylon 5, where you have structure damage and everything else damage. So it's not like once you get past the shields on one side, it's an open buffet. There's actually things you need to do, and I'm really enjoying that. But yeah, I don't know Babylon well enough to be, hey, I'm running a campaign out of Babylon 5. I still have to pass the first fucking season. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. There's not enough alcohol in the world. Gotta dry.
Skip that season. Go on to the good seasons, aka 2 through 4.
Yeah, okay. I'm a traditionalist. I like to start at the beginning and end at the end. I'm kind of weird that way. But old Starfleet would be fun.
Okay. What about you, Bruce?
They're upstairs. Boo.
Bruce has left the building.
I think Bruce has stepped away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that, I don't know, Kai, you played Starfleet. I think they're being, if you're doing not a campaign, but a building up, I think you don't get all the races all at once. I think there should be a build up.
Depends. Depends. And there isn't a debatably playable Starfleet Battles role-playing game. Again, debatably playable. Prime Directive. I don't know if it's been a long time since I tried playing it, but honestly, with how interconnected the universe is, it all depends on what year you're going to be starting the game is. Like, what are we talking about? Like an FY 100 game, FY 120? How are we playing pre-General War, General War? Like, because you have conflicts in that universe that are big, that are happening like as far back as like Y97, Y95, Y80, when you still have Impulse Condor class dreadnoughts.
True.
Floating about, and you haven't got the first, you haven't seen the first CA yet. So you're still running around with old series and old style CLs, the old armored cruisers that are still floating about, and you're looking at primitives. So the primitive era is kind of that. The thing is, once you start getting out of primitives, like the first arrival of the cruiser of the CA, the center CA, so you'll start seeing like D5s, D6s, and like early CAs floating around, and then D7's that big scary bird, and you're like, oh crud, or is it a D7C, which all those have introduction years. So it's really important to actually know what year you're in, so that way you know what ship, what refit, what model and what's going to arrive at what point. So you'll have Tholians early. Sure, you won't know about the Hydrons yet if you're playing early because they're still being occupied by the Klingons at this point. You really won't see the Lyrans at a certain point because they're still in a pissy fight with the Zin, who haven't done anything useful yet. And the Gorn, who gives a shit about what they're doing? They're just out there being Gorn. And the Romulans are useless until about Y130 when they finally figure out what a warp drive is. And then you get to see the War Eagle finally show up, and then then the fun begins. Oh wait, because Y130 is the TV series, and now you get to see, oh shit, that first War Eagle, and oh crap, what's that horrible monstrosity that's sleeking up to me? All of a sudden arrives, and hey, Palace of Terror, we're playing that episode. Oh shit, and okay, so we don't have the ISC yet because the ISC are off, fucked up, and who gives a shit land, way off, and no one cares. And sure, there's no Andros yet. I'm okay with that. No Celtorians yet. I'm okay with that one. Celtorians kind of suck. And you have Orions, and they're okay. The Wind Cluster? Wow, that's
a race. What was the race that shot webs out of their ship? I always thought that was
Olians. But they don't arrive with their Dyson sphere in tow until early in the setting. It's like around like Y100s when the Tholians arrive with their big giant Dyson sphere of death. It's great. I love this. I love that game. It's history. I love that I can actually trace a ship's evolution and refit line from its origin to its end point across nearly over a century, actually, from when you get to the ISC occupation and the Andromedan Wars. That's an amazing, the fact that setting is so very well written out, and then you get the X ships that are arriving, which are pretty much the movie ships, and you're like, this is amazing. And then you go look at real Trek and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, what the fuck's wrong with all of this? And then it's like, Trek, we don't know what to do. Meanwhile, here's some guys in Texas going, oh God, we got this whole idea, this whole world universe. It's full of conflict and war, and the Federation is trying really hard, but there's like ships exploding, and there's this great battle sequence where where an entire fleet carrier crashes onto Remus and kills one of the Romulan homeworlds. It's an amazing battle. And there's this other battle with this really cool battle cruiser. It has this point where it has to it's being killed, and then the crew has to escape on the detachable saucer that was way before the detachable saucer. And oh man, all this cool shit's going on here, and then suddenly here comes Star Trek. Nyeh.
Okay, so back now that Bruce is back. Bruce, are you back?
I'm here. What's up?
There was a question that Jade asked, and you disappeared. So I cranked Kai's gears to fill up the time between.
What was the question that Jade had? I'm sorry.
So the question is, what is your favorite? Not the one that got you started, but what is your favorite science fiction system or setting that you like to run in or play in?
I'm still going to go back to my old standard of Star Wars, the D6 RPG.
Okay. West End Games?
Yep, West End Games. They did it right. I mean, Max and a bunch of others would probably say that's one of their favorite systems that they've played. If you were involved with it back when it was coming out, that was the system that why am I forgetting
everything right?
Timothy Zahn used that system as background reference material for the Heir to the Empire trilogy in the early 90s. So if there is any accreditation that we can lay claim to it, the D6 system for Star Wars is the only reason we have Star Wars active today, because Disney saw it being a pile of money in 2012 or 2015, whenever they bought it, and they wanted that money as their own. And they saw the heyday money in the 90s when they had the Power of the Force figures. They had the D6 RPG, which was not really making tons of money, but it was getting a segment of the population to buy more stuff. The people that buy the RPG books, they also buy the tech manuals. They also buy, they buy stuff like what Kai's got there.
The Imperial Source book.
Yes, and WotC bought into the system in the late 90s.
And they did shit with it.
The only good thing they did is that they had Bill Silvesic, the original designer for D6, write the D20 version. And
you know what I would like?
He tried.
What was that game guy? Astrophysicist Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I want him and a game designer to sit down and actually write a sci-fi space game.
No, I'm good. I've got plenty of space games I could play that I enjoy, and I don't enjoy time that I spend watching Neil deGrasse Tyson. I find him to be a dull cunt. I do.
At least this, when it comes to science, when it comes to space, will be correct.
You know.
Well, okay. If you want to talk about that, there's a book series called The Lost Fleet, and that right there, I absolutely love it because the guy who wrote the book is a former Navy veteran. And the way that he wrote that book is when you come into a star system, it could take you 40 to 80 hours to get across the star system to the next jump point.
Wow.
You know, it's not like a Star Wars where I'm right at the planet. No, you have to jump in away because there's gravitational forces. And just
Traveler with
and then you come in.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Well, there was a comment
that like there's really good sci-fi out there that's been written for RPGs and tabletops. I'm not trying to slam deGrasse Tyson for his intellect, but I don't think that him being an internet superstar is helping him with his theses. I don't. All he's doing is just getting fans and likes, and he's addicted to the fame. Now, if you want deGrasse Tyson to make a book, fine. But if we're going to do that, I really want the guy that played Drago in the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Paul Rush. What?
I know who you're talking about. He can do anything but play the Punisher again, for fuck's sake.
Go to hell.
To me?
That's a great movie.
Oh my God! Stop drinking the water.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Just remember my actual real favorite. This game, this ancient ass game right here, Imperial Starfire. It was last good version was in the late 90s, and this is a game of communication lag. Sensor ranges are that, and hours. There you go. Imperial Starfire, and it's in the 3rd edition revised rule book. If you want to have transit times measured in 100 hours, 100 hours to travel from one jump point to the next jump point. If you want sensor ranges where you're going, I think I can pick out somebody at. Okay, so they're at 5 light hours, so that means that their sensor ping, they can be anywhere in that direction for 5 hours of movement, which could be pretty far. And your weapon ranges are at a point where most people are like, "Oh, we're playing space combat, woo!" Where you get like the point where you can see the other ship out the window, or like, "Sir, they're closing to 25,000 kilometers." Ooh, that's a long shot. I don't know if we can make that. Meanwhile, Starfire, which is written was created by David Weber, who went on to go write some amazing books elsewhere. and where you get people going, how far are out? Like, where can we begin shooting at somebody at? About 30 light seconds. That's when we can start shooting at somebody. Well, why any further? Because at that point, we're aiming at somebody who's moving at 0.1 speed of light. 1%. 1% to 10% C, and they're moving, and we're going to be shooting at them in 30 seconds away. They could be anywhere. Evasive action. So you have to close a little bit. So you start looking at ranges measured in, light seconds. Most people are going, oh, that sounds kind of pretty far. And so it's like, oh, cool. We're now closing to 16 light seconds. I think we can now begin to start firing now. And we start realizing we are playing a sci-fi game of, sir, they've entered into the orbit of the moon. Oh, good. Short range. Start firing. Meanwhile, if you play some other sci-fi game, it's like, sir, they've entered lunar orbit. We need to wait for them to get closer into low orbit before we can start to shoot at them. Bullshit. And so you actually have it's wonderful. So you actually have to worry about everything's long, everything's big. You have to figure out, and this game here actually has a wonderful system of you have tactical movement. Then you have every couple of seconds you get to actually move, and then they go up to every minute, every hour, now up to every day. And now you get to actually start figuring out strategic movements. Ships are engaged, are traveling across systems, trying to make it to intercept, and all this is all happening in this massive, just swirling mess. And then you look at after you get something like this, you start looking at other sci-fi games. Well, I guess we gotta go to quarter impulse and start flying at each other, and well. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Start shooting about now. And nothing fucking happens until you get to, well, put Bob in an airlock with a phaser rifle. Okay, cool. You're that fucking close. If you're so damn close. This is why I hate watching Star Trek. We're such an advanced sci-fi series. You watch the actual show. You're so fucking close. You can see the other guy's light bulbs in his bedroom. Hey, that Romulan apartment complex is flying at us, and I can see who's actually in their bedroom today. Having who's reading while we're at battle stations. And don't worry, they can see who's taking a shower in one of our bases. Even though we're at Red Alert, the kindergarten's having his class still because that's how Star Trek works. Or hey, we're gonna go play. We're gonna go play some Stargate SG-1. Once again, everybody's at so fucking close range that it's oh shoot, and we're still missing. But why? Because I can see the other ship's hull plate number. I can almost get close up. I actually can see what serial number is on the gun barrel.
Hey, now, we have a long history of shooting at
warships.
What's that?
Have you ever played World of Warships?
I love that game.
I get broadsides point blank with somebody with my tech level 7 cruiser, and 1/3 of my shots might land.
I know. Okay, that game's got horrible Sigma. All those guns have horrible Sigma. It's it's terrifying. Unless you're driving goddamn Soviet cruisers, fucking laser goddamn accuracy there. 13 kilometers? Love that shells. Oh, look at that. 6 citadels. Fuck yeah.
Hey, we have a long history of having sci-fi shows where the main villains can't shoot for shit.
Well, the other thing is that, and I'm going to roll back to the book I was talking about earlier. When they're going in to fight each other, humans can't fire. It's all the computer. You set the targets where you want to shoot, and the computers do the shooting as they go by because they're going by each other so fast. By the time that you register what happened, they're already 5-10 kilometers away from each other easily.
Yeah, that's why I like Starfleet. That's one of the things I like about Starfleet is because if there's I'm not okay. Let's say this is a ship. This is the head of a ship, and I am at this angle. So I'm hoping that I can hit the ship because its shields down or up front with Starfleet. But because of the movement of the ship, you always have to assume that's almost one hex up. So when I'm trying to go for shield 1, I'm actually hitting shield 2 or 5 on the other side. Depends on what side of the ship I'm at. So movement is,
6 to
Yeah, I played recently. But no. Oh, there was a comment in chat that I wanted to comment. Why have we not talked about Aliens? I like the franchise Alien franchise. Well, I like some of the Aliens 1, 2, and really 1 and 2. And Predator is a whole different creature.
Yep.
But
Aliens, Predator, and Terminator have only had 2 movies. The first 2 movies of every franchise rock, but yet every follow-up past 2 is a steaming pile when you try to go back and enjoy it again. It's like, ugh, I don't remember it sucking this bad when I was high on popcorn and fountain drinks in the theater. This sucks.
But Aliens would be a very interesting RP to run for sci-fi, but the problem is if the aliens are not outrightly killing everybody every other session, you're running it wrong. And that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but aliens have a lot of things going for them that the normal human soldier does not have.
Yeah.
There's a reason why in the first movie you didn't see the alien until the last 20 minutes of the film, because they have like a natural nat 22 stealth at all times. Humans watch one sci-fi movie. I challenge you to one sci-fi movie or TV show where somebody actually looks up. We look to the left, we look to the right, but we don't look up.
Right. Now, see, the important problem is
hold on. You've triggered Mike. Or you triggered Jade, I should say. I feel a red versus blue comment coming.
Oh, God. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That is one of those things. No one ever looks up in the films. No one ever looks up nobody ever looks up in video games. Like, you could be this, like, ungodly, paragon of stealth, clinging to the ceiling, waiting for someone to just walk through a doorway, and they never look up, and you just go, oh, and you're dead. I used to do that in N64 GoldenEye. I would put proximity mines on the fucking roof or on the because no one knew that you could use the controller to look up. So when they'd walk by and they'd die and they wouldn't know why. It's one of those tropes in science fiction that I wish would just go the fuck away. People are more observant than that. If danger could come from literally any direction, you're going to check every direction. You're not just going to check your corners, at the door frame. You're also going to look up slightly to, see if there's anything above. If there's a tripwire or, a trip laser above. You're going to look for that stuff because, well, danger is everywhere.
Yes,
danger will
danger. No, here's the thing. You know what taught people to look up in most of our generation? Halo. Because we're always looking for that camping bastard that has a sniper rifle on some damn hill that we weren't counting on. And if somebody would run a Halo campaign,
God damn it, Church.
That'd be freaking amazing.
Tell me what you see. There are some walls and some ceilings. Wait, no, just one ceiling.
If I can't see you, you can't see me.
Now, having played a whole lot of Alien vs. Predator, people don't look up. You can be alien on the wall, over a door, and people are like, done.
When they look up, plop.
That's when you drop on them and just spear with your tail. That's what you do.
Alien 3 had a lot of crap to it. But one of my favorite part in Alien 3 is when the guy is chewing out everybody in the mess hall, and he's bouncing that ball up, and he's catching it. He's bouncing the ball up, and he's catching it. then it just disappears. He looks up. Next thing you see, a xenomorph reaching down, grabbing his fat ass, taking him up into the ceiling. That's how most RPG alien games would probably turn out, because everybody be too bitching. Game over, man. Game over. And if I was playing an alien RPG game, and since there might be xenomorphs on that campaign, I'd be looking at my captain, permission to blow up the fucking planet. We're not going there.
We need to at least retrieve something of value from the planet.
Nope, it's not worth it.
From orbit.
Fuck you, mother. We're leaving.
We're sorry, the Corps says.
That's the same thing that people say when they see a spider. They're like, get off the planet and just nuke it from orbit. The entire planet, because there's one spider.
Unfortunately, the ship captain and the Marine commander says, no, we need to at least get something of value off the planet first.
We did our lives.
All you gotta do is get down there, do the job, come back up. Your life is not valuable. The Corps doesn't give a shit. Get the goddamn computer core.
And that's very reminiscent of Dark Heresy in a lot of aspects. You know, if you're playing a Dark Heresy game or you're playing Inquisition game, you know, you're given a mission. You go to this planet to retrieve something or check out something, and if there just happens to be heretic activity on that planet, what's the one thing you do? You report it, and you let the gunships laze it from orbit, because no, not dealing with elder gods. Okay, thanks. Die.
You just gotta survive the encounter. All you gotta do is survive the encounter with the Gene Stealer cultists, or the Dark Eldar hunting community that you stumbled across, who's trying to open a webway gate that everyone's forgotten about. It's hidden in the bowels of a basement, and you're like, oh shit, Eldar. All you really have to do is just give the cultists of Big Papa Nurgle a hug. I mean, that's all they really need. They're gonna love you as much as you do.
Yes, and I understand that the game strongly suggests to avoid putting aliens in every session. But if you're fighting aliens, if it's an alien campaign, you
got to make it about more than just aliens, though. There's a lot to that universe.
But you also got to remember, if you're playing Alien properly, you got to put down colonial uprisings that are currently happening, dealing with separatist factions that are deciding that today that colony decided to not pay its taxes. Well, that can't last. And suddenly you're being sent in to go be you're the big boot who's in the area. Go take care. Go make sure that remind them who's in charge. And but aren't we the good guys? Are we the baddies? Yeah, we're the baddies. But my paycheck's tied by Earth, and as far as until the check balances, I shoot. Because you're not playing Alien to have a morality conflict going on here, are you?
I mean, I would hope not.
Right.
Actually, that brings up another question. Where do you draw inspiration from for science fiction? I mean, there's the obvious answer of books or television shows, but like what?
Firefly.
Yes, Firefly. The Expanse.
That would be another game. That would be a sci-fi game.
It is. They do actually have their own engine. Actually, no, they don't have their own engine. They use the Fate engine, if I'm not mistaken. No? I thought it was a D6 Fate engine.
Don't think it is.
Oh, I could be mistaken. I sat down to make the character, but never played it.
Let me talk with the gods of the googly.
Okay.
Googly. How did you?
You know, we all, we nerds like our television. We like our books. We like our movies. If you were to sit down and come up with a game that you would be willing to run for a group of friends or even a group of strangers, what source of inspiration would you run to first? Like, what would be your, go-to, hey, I think everyone that I would run for would love this. What is the this? I'm going to start with Baron on this one.
Well, first off, I have the answer. It runs a variant of the Cortex Plus engine by Margaret Weiss.
Okay.
So that is the thing. Now,
That's
I
a
was
good
looking
question.
that up, and I did not hear the question.
So the question is, we're nerds. We like our science fiction novels, our books, our TV shows, our movies. If you were to sit down today and decide, hey, I'm going to run a science fiction game for a group of my friends or even strangers, what is the number one source you would flock to first to get inspiration ready for that game?
Actually, I think with Traveler, you can easily do a Firefly type game with that. Just for the simple fact of you're hauling stuff back and forth. You've got different governments. You could actually do that. So I mean, you could even have the Reavers out in space.
Ooh. There's a particular order I hope if I fell into that situation, there's a particular order I wish they would follow, starting with killing me.
But yeah,
Okay.
you can that, or even I would draw on several different places of inspiration. Even in Traveler, when you're traveling, you don't go from point A to point B instantaneously. You usually have a minimum of, I think it's 4 days, maximum of 7 for train. It's been so long since I played, I'd have to reread the rules. But I know it's I think it's at least 7 days to do your transit when you do your jump. And
So
during
you're
that
talking
time,
any-
you're working on skills, everything else. So I mean, there is a lot of different inspirations out there that you can pull from. You can even pull a fantasy. You can even make changes to a fantasy and make it a fantasy module and bring it in.
the
Just
game
use
system that I
use the bare bones.
if
Okay,
I could play any game and I could use any edition of that game, I would go back to first edition Mutant Chronicles, otherwise known as Warzone for you tabletop wargamer skirmish people. Because Mutant Chronicles is a game that you can pick people up, get them to roll up their character, and they will have a decent character, maybe a super powered character, probably not. And you will be ready to play with all 4 to 7 players within about 2 hours. And you have everybody roll together. So you give everybody their information. They choose what nationality they are, because Mercury has Mishima, Venus had the Bauhaus people, a little bit of Cybertronic. You also had the Moon had your Cardinals and the Holy Roman Emperor Brotherhood. My bad, the Brotherhood were on the Moon, and then Mars had Capital, which was basically like the Americans and Canadians hanging out together on Mars. The Imperials would be out in the trade belt, in the mining belt, and they would be doing that. And if you just ran the published modules for that game, you would crack through the first, I think, 3 seals of the apocalypse, which was a very interesting setup for a game because it wanted to be 40K in space or 40K for us Earthers, but they went on some different tangents. There was a section in the book that you would read through it, and it was talking about the Brotherhood. And by the time you finished it, you either loved the Catholics or you hated them. But it was a very interesting game system. It had big fucking guns, so you could play your split-second movie tie-in. You could have your demons and magic, so you could play your space opera or techno fantasy. but getting people to want to play that past the 5th module or past the 5th adventure together was hard because you'd probably have 3 out of 7 characters die within the first 5 games. And if I'm allowed to pick anything, I'd go with Mutant Chronicles. If not, okay, I'm picking Star Wars D6.
Okay.
Darren P. My system I use is StreamYard.com.
Can I jump in that one next?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, Kai.
No.
I want to jump in now because I have 2 different thoughts from my head. If I don't say them now, I'll change my mind 3 ways from Sunday. Using movies, or if I'm running a sci-fi game, I've done something wrong because sci-fi is not really my area of expertise. But there's a part of me that would be very interested in doing the Chronicles of Riddick world, where there's no aliens per se. There's just variations on humans. I think would be fun. And there's another part of me. I think this is the 5-year-old kid who fell in love with Mario. Mario is not a fantasy game. By Mario and Luigi, it's not a fantasy game. There is no real magic in the game. It's a really weird sci-fi game because you are going to a different world, but it's not fantasy. And I think having a game where you have a group of people going to a weird-ass planet where evolution went the other direction. It wasn't the primates that evolved into humans. It was the reptiles or the birds, as a lot of people are saying dinosaurs are now, that turned into humans. I think it would be a very interesting twist on a game that I'm sure most of us here played when we were kids.
Well, would you be playing the video game version or would you be playing the movie version?
I think I would do the steampunk, what the fuck was I drinking, 5 directors, 101 different scripts, a movie version.
Okay, because the movie version, there's also random Lithuanian strippers that pop up in places.
Well, it would have a stripper guild. Yes, this is TableBreakers. We are the home of the stripper guild.
We are really badly underrepresented. We need more strippers to help us and broadcast and make us famous.
If any of you those who know any strippers that like to play fantasy RPGs, let us know.
My wife would like to know about that.
I get.
Okay, Kai. What about you?
Go ahead.
Okay. If I had to deal with people who don't know fantasy role-playing game, I probably will go with The Expanse as my. Here.
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that show. Everybody's been talking
about
it.
It's not a movie, dude.
Watch the series. It's worth it. But no, if I have to have people who don't know sci-fi, I'm run The Expanse. It's fast. It's not hard to make characters. Combat's simple. Space combat is really easy to understand because it's actually fluid. You can actually get through a actual interesting fight pretty easily, and you can recreate any of the fights from the series. It's like if you want the last stand of the Dowager, yes, you can run that combat, and it will be an interesting. It will last about 6-7 turns, but it'll be done, and it'll be done in about an hour and a half, and everybody will be having fun while it's happening. If I can actually run the game that I want to run, it's probably going to be Star Wars D6, and I'm going to probably go steal or Traveler. Traveler, if my players want more cinematic, flowy stupidity, Star Wars. If they want more crunch, I'm going to go with Traveler. And I'm probably going to go steal anything written by like 3 authors. Are my go-to, immediate go-to, because I know outside of Garrett, I know no one's read anything but Data. I know no one I run for has read any Data Weber books, so therefore I can steal from his books wholeheartedly, and nobody will know because.
Oh yeah.
I
like armor and kill ratio. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah.
Well, and truthfully,
it's like
go ahead.
If I was to say I was to run like the Weber John Ringo. John Ringo's the other one I'm going to steal immensely from. Amazing author, no one's read him. And so it's like, if I want to, like, if I got players who are sitting here going, we're here for a naval campaign. Well, shit. Harrington and Starfire, right over here. If they want a ground combat game, Legacy of the Aldonata series by Ringo or March Up Country, I've got that down. If I got players who go, we want to go in for heavy intrigue, again, March Up Country, done. Or I got players who go, we want to do like drive like tanks and shit. Well, fuck, Hammer Slammers right over here. Go have some fun. We got this like we want to do some like special forces armored combat shit. Once again, Legacy Aldonata, I can just pull from that. Nobody will recognize it. We want some giant robot shit. Well, at that point, I'm just going to put all that away, and I'm going to pull Mech Warrior out and go, giant robot time. We're going to go play my favorite universe now, and you better, be able to fill out my lecture, sit through my thesis document now, because you're going to understand. Like, if you can't quote this, you're just nobodies. Wait, no. House books. Do your homework. Know where you're from. But I don't want to do homework. Research. Write me paperwork. Or just go follow the flow chart and be an idiot. And you know what? Stars a grunt. You'll figure it out. But yes. Oh dear God. Everything, like, all of these are like, but there's so many authors you can steal from, as long as you don't steal from Stackpole. Just don't steal from Stackpole. None of his books are good. They're fun, but look, when you can hang a sign saying it's been 27 days since the last Stackpole incident, because wow, we're gonna play a Stackpole game, a Stackpole things. Battlements explode. No, they shouldn't, but Stackpole says they do. Good. Hey, we're gonna play some Stackpole Star Wars. Awesome. So our 3 X-Wings are gonna be able to knock out an entire Super Star Destroyer. Yeah. Because Stackpole. Fuck yeah. No. God, I hate him. I love his books. They're fun characters, but God, they're stupid. He's right up there with R.A. Salvatore for being a shitty writer, but R.A. Salvatore luckily writes mostly fantasy. But so it's like, oh good, is it an R.A. Salvatore book? Good, it's gonna be shit fantasy. It'll be entertaining to read, but it'll be shit fantasy. And it's a Stackpole book. It's gonna be an entertaining book, but it's gonna be shit sci-fi. Awesome.
I want to run the Starfleet. I want to run the Starfleet episodes or Star Trek episodes that George R.R. Martin wrote, because half the characters die. Again,
yeah. If you think Ian Martin's ability to kill off characters is anything to write home about, read Weber. Nobody gets to survive a Weber book unless your name is Harrington. Nobody lives. Are you a named character? You're going to die. Are you a minor character? You're going to die. Why? How? You're just going to die. And if you don't die in this book, but everyone loves you, you're one of the most famous characters, everyone loves you, you're going to go off on a wonderful trip and be murdered. Or in another case, your death will be a horrible paragraph. This epic, like, the cavalry comes charging in, this legendary character shows up, and they die from a kamikaze attack. And you're like, oh, wait, what? This was one of the most important characters in the entirety of the story. She just dies. From what? A kamikaze. Like, literally, the other characters, she was mid-sentence, talking, dead. Like, are you, like, if you're playing in a Weber or a Ringo book, you're gonna die. Boy, are you going to die. And it's so glorious. Why? Why must you? Yeah, you're right. Honor Harrington is the only one, but dear God. If you read one of those books, it's like, I'm somebody you like. Boom, splattered.
I'm actually going to break down and write a read or see if I can get an audio version of, it's one of the Honorverse books. I think it's the first one. It's, oh God, they're a creature from fantasy. You look in them, they're not the Medusa. There's one of the titles is the name of the same creature, and I can't think of what it is.
Basilisk.
Basilisk
Station.
On Basilisk Station?
Yeah.
That is the first book.
Russell, my friend Russell wants me to read that Something Fierce.
Yes.
And
You will actually, I think you would actually enjoy it.
You will like it. It's a good book.
Yeah.
He has it.
But
on audio?
See, yes. And
yeah,
the thing
he's got
is
it on audio.
don't I made one mistake is I followed the Honorverse book straight up with just Honor Harrington. All of a sudden I found, there's these other books. And then I found out that, these happened before this book.
The books, yes. The ones that are actually about the entire founding of the entire Star Navy, yes, those are great books. Or, yeah.
This coming Tuesday, I will be playing in the Honorverse in my evening evening RP session with space tubes.
Just remember, keep your ship's information. Missiles are everything. But you're going to run out of missiles eventually.
It's because missiles are not missiles anymore. They're missiles that when they get close to their target, they break off and they shoot a damn laser.
Yeah. Yes, laser warheads. Those are a thing. And because of the fact that you can't get through most point defense easily. So, keep your ships in tight formation, maintain your data link groups, and make sure you have the ability to put out enough defensive fire to hold off the other guy's bombardment until you can close. Also, never present your bow or stern to anybody, or you're dead.
Yeah.
I'm going to be talking about my Tuesday campaign so much that I'm going to get... Wait, hold on. Wrong hand.
What is the worst sci-fi game?
that guy right there to find a Tuesday. I'm coming over. Or maybe that guy right there.
No!
There is one epic one that we have not touched on. And
What's that?
I completely forgot about it until now. Space 1889.
See, I was expecting
If you want to talk,
space.
if you're talking about sci-fi, though, it is a Victorian era sci-fi where you can actually go to Mercury and you can go to the different planets. It was a very good game.
The thing was I wasn't thinking about anachronistic steampunk sci-fi. I was thinking more just traditional sci-fi.
But I mean that would still, I would still consider that as sci-fi.
Oh yeah, I do too. But I just hadn't contemplated it due to it just not being what we normally think of science fiction to be. So
I mean, I'm sure somebody in chat has said John Carter 101 damn times as being sci-fi. I never played the games. I saw the movie that came out a few years ago, and thinking to myself, I don't know if I like this. I need to get hold of one of the original books. Books and maybe thumb through it. I have nothing against John Carter. I think it's a very interesting concept of a game, a world, and novel series. But if I want to do sci-fi, I'm kind of with Jade. I'm really into Star Trek. Of all the different sci-fi games out there, and I'm there kind of. Don't get me wrong, I do like Farscape, but I didn't like the game. I like Hercules in Space. It has a different name, but I call it Hercules in Space because Kevin Sobo, who played Hercules, was the captain in it. And I really like anything that has Nietzsche attached to it. I'm kind of weird that way. The Nietzscheans. What a bunch of idiots. But anyways.
How do you feel? How do you really feel?
How do I really feel? My cigar almost gone. I need to get some more alcohol that rhymes with Irish and ends with whiskey. And other than that, I'm good.
Well, at least you're batting 1,000 right now. That's okay.
Well, Serenity's not bad. I like Serenity. I like Firefly. There's talk about it coming back, and I don't want it to come back. Only way I will accept it to come back is if it's an anime. because you can get all the original actors except for the ones that passed away, and you can redo the series. And you're not losing anything because the original actors are there playing their roles. Bishop, I believe, passed away.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And you can boycott the movie. I'm not saying you can overstep the movie. I'm not saying you should, but you could still have Wash. Because fuck, I think the only thing he's doing right now is being an alien on a Sci-Fi Channel TV show, and it's not that great.
400,000 voices. That's what he's doing. 400,000 voices. He's the new Frank Welker of voice acting. You just need him to make animal noises. He's there. He does it. He's amazing.
I want to be Frank Welker for a day.
What was that?
Yeah, the Tuddock is amazing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I appreciate him as an actor. You're weird in a couple ways, Connell, but we love you. Which just a couple.
Agreed.
I think there was actually a Battlestar Galactica game. I know there was a board game out. I don't know if there was ever a.
Board game was amazing.
I don't know if there
can
was
I go
ever
out
an
with you
RPG
toasters?
system like that. I mean, yeah, freshly roasted Cylon. But that's a universe that I would probably want to play in. Is the Battlestar Galactica or Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda. Those are my go-to inspiration for when I want to run sci-fi. Especially if I want to run a gritty sci-fi that's not grim dark, just gritty. I'd actually probably lean more Battlestar Galactica. And I don't mean the reboot. I mean, maybe a little bit of the reboot, but also the original. I've watched both.
I like both.
Here's a question. How do I make a good cream was it brulee?
Creme brulee?
Creme brulee?
Creme
That's
brulee.
an easy answer. I go to a French restaurant, have them fucking make it for me. Do I speak frog to you?
Google.
Ribbit.
Blade Runner RPG. Okay. Apparently there's a Blade Runner RPG coming out. I don't understand why they wouldn't use the same rule set as Aliens, though, because it's part of the same universe.
It is the same universe. I don't know. How would you do a good?
Another unique one to play. I think I wouldn't mind playing in a Blade Runner-esque game. Not knowing whether I'm a replicant or not. Like that to me would be kind of awesome.
That would be an interesting one to run, because you don't even know if one of your players at the table is playing one.
Right.
That would be interesting, but at the end of the session or the end of the storyline, somebody needs to quote, "I need more life," or the line that came from that. Leave Firefly in the past. Any studio will make it woke garbage.
True story.
I don't know about that. I really don't.
And if you really want to have a good Battlestar Galactica experience, you really don't even need an RPG for it, because Fantasy Flight Games put out a very good series of board games that were kind of ripoffs of the Knights of the Round Table that they did, the Shadows over Camelot. The Battlestar Galactica system would have you play the game for a few turns, and then everybody reveals to themselves, not each other, who's a Cylon, who isn't. And so the Cylon players have to fuck over the table while the rest of the players are trying to save themselves and keep ships with food processing going on and water, and they've got to have fuel for the next, set of jumps. And the entire time they're being pursued by the damn Cylons. It is a wonderful board game.
Actually, that would actually make an amazing West Marches style game where you have multiple groups going at the same time. I think that would make an absolutely amazing West March game.
Actually, I could think of a game that you have in your collection right now that you could switch out for one to be Cylon versus the other one, and you have it in your collection. Secret Hitler.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's social deduction at the end of the day.
I feel so sorry for Shadow because it seems like every time that he watches one of our streams or we have him on one of our streams, he's doing more homework than he is actually enjoying the stream because he's taking so
I've
many notes.
noticed that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with taking down notes. Yeah, I would actually probably join a West March style Battlestar Galactica game, no matter the system. I would learn a system to be in something like that, because that to me just, to have the chance of being, a Cylon and not knowing it, that would be pretty awesome.
I just want to be able to turn on the main defense guns and start just plastering toasters all day long. That's what I want.
Freshly roasted Cylon.
I would model my character after Dennis Leary from Suicide Kings when I attack a toaster. For those who get it, get it. For those who don't, I'm sorry.
Twilight Imperium.
That's a different beast entirely. That's not like that's like saying, "Hey, we're gonna no, yes."
Special guest.
We got a guest.
I mean, if I've got a month to kill, I might play Twilight Imperium.
God, yes.
Oh, you know what the trick is for Twilight Imperium?
Stare at the box, never open it.
Well,
I'm doing that right now.
in general, the number of players you have, that's how many hours you need to play a game.
Yep.
So 6 players is 6 hours, 9 players is 9 hours. That's assuming all the players know all the rules and you don't have to teach the game as you play.
Yes.
And that's assuming no break for lunch or dinner or midnight snacks or whatever.
We order in, it'll be delivered. No one leaves.
Yeah, no one leaves. We're locked in, escape room.
This game ends only when we actually finish a game, which is never. We'll all die there.
I play the game solo, so I can take my sweet time doing it.
Apparently,
I
it's
haven't even opened
getting
my
a
box yet.
RPG setting using the Genesis system. Interesting.
Okay.
I might be able to get behind that.
I'm hoping
Genesis dice.
I know. Shoot. Stellaris is getting a board game, so I'm okay with that. I'm hoping it'll be as good as Twilight Imperium, but I know it's Paradox, so no, it won't be.
What about Vader V, or was it V? It was an old TV series.
Oh, V Visitors.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
The
what did I
original
miss?
was good.
Were you guys talking about which TV shows would suck as games, or which movies would suck as games, or which games suck?
If you were to be asked or wanting to run a science fiction game for a group of friends or even strangers, what would your source of inspiration be? Like, what would you run screaming through the night to as inspiration for that kind of game?
Oh, well, first I'd have to ask the players what sci-fi are they familiar with, like what movies they've seen, what books they've read, and then we decide what we from there where we go. I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to run this for my gamers, and they know nothing about the genre. That I have to ask them first.
Okay, I mean that's a fair question or a fair response.
Because for me, it doesn't matter what game or what kind of sci-fi we do. It's more about the mechanic of the game. Is there insanity involved? Is there like Event Horizon? Is it going to be that, or
Oh wow, that's a dark
Sunshine,
movie.
or is it going to be 28 Days Later, or is it going to be I Am Legend, or Soylent Green, or
Good pick me
Blade
up
Runner?
games.
Yeah.
Mostly it's dystopian. I prefer dystopian, to be honest.
Okay, and that's I think the root of the answer there is you're leaning more towards dystopian style stories or
Yeah, because that's what I
inspiration.
grew up with. I grew up in the 70s, so that's all there was available.
Yeah.
Until Star Wars came out. Planet of the Apes, yeah, post-apocalyptic, Earth's destroyed, apes rule, Monkeys and machines.
I don't know how I feel about Planet of the Apes RPG game. That would be weird.
Have you watched all the movies?
What?
The original ones, yeah.
Okay.
It's a Rod Sterling show, so it's basically talking heads. That's all Planet of the Apes is talking heads. So you need a game that has social combat in it.
Yeah.
Being able to convince people, deceive them.
Actually, the last batch of Planet of the Apes movies wasn't horrible.
Yeah, if you skip the Tim Burton movie, everything's fine.
Fuck Tim Burton. I mean,
I don't understand the ending of his version. You would piss off your players if you did that in a game.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, you brought up a good segue topic for science fiction. Zombie games or zombie stories. The whole 28 days later concept.
Oh God, yes.
I think
well 20 years ago, zombies was like bacon. You just added zombies to anything and it just improves whatever you're doing. But now zombies, I think, are kind of
overplayed.
Dated. Yeah, overplayed, overused.
Yeah, they're a little overdone.
You just gotta do them right. That's do them right.
But if you do them differently, don't call them zombies. Don't say if they're fast or slow or smart zombies. Just don't call them zombies. Don't call them undead, unliving. Don't call them that. Just like in 28 Days Later, you don't know what they're called. They're just
the infected.
Rage. They just have they're just infected or something. In Left 4 Dead, they don't really say what they are, do they? They're just infected.
They don't. In Walking Dead, they never use the word zombie.
They've actually got specific names for the strains of mutagen, but I do believe they call them. I think they might call them walkers occasionally.
Yeah, walkers.
One was called Smoker or something.
Smoker, Boomer, Jockey, Witch. Oh God, the Witch. The Tank. God, what was the Charger? And then there was, I think, one more. I can't remember the name of.
You got Smoker, right? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, Smoker was in there.
When you say zombie to your players and they're zombie experts, then they've already in their head are thinking how it's gonna go. We're all gonna die, or we're all gonna be surrounded by them eventually, and Brad Pitt won't save us today. That kind of thing.
Well, now, I will point out I mentioned John Ringo's book series, but his his Black Tide Rising Under a Graveyard Sky series, which is pretty much, it's zombies, but it's actually optimistic. Sure, the first book is all about the collapse of civilization, but the next books are all about the reconstruction after it.
Yeah, reconstruction. That's a good thing to role play.
And
YouTube has all of the audiobooks of that series to listen to.
Yeah, and the best part about that series is that
for now,
it's the fall of civilization is actually in slow motion from initial outbreak in early April. You have until literally August 27th. It's actually, I got a date. August 27th is when the final collapse of the power grid begins, and that's when the US.
Remember in the first book, the guy meets that girl, and he's kind of showing her how to keep awake and stay on patrol at night and use a weapon, and it was kind of cool. And no one knew yet what had happened, like what was going on. Just power. There was just no power. There's no delivery trucks anymore.
Yeah, and
everyone was sort of isolated in their own little towns.
And the thing is that sure, that book series gave you depending on which book you're reading and which side story is, you've got the disaster from. You really see it from sea, the naval point of view, or there's other books that
They're on a boat. They're just on a boat because it's the only safe place to be currently.
Yeah. Or in other parts of the book series, you also have escaping to a dam in the Blue Ridge Mountains, or on a Caribbean island, or trying to reestablish the GPS grid from Antarctica, and working your way up from various locations, and you get to see the fall of mankind and all the various ways that you can survive. So it's 100 ways that you can literally run, especially when you have a slow motion apocalypse where you had time to see it coming, but you probably didn't do anything to stop it because, well, I mean, sure, it's happening, but is it happening fast enough for you? And if you can run the end of the world slowly and let players kind of watch it happen and go, oh yeah, zombies, and then they realize, but wait, the power's still on. There's still food. I can still get ammunition. But you don't tell them when because I guarantee you most players don't know the actual end date.
And you still have plenty of time to prep, like store food away and stuff.
Yeah, but
gasoline.
But then you got to worry about, are you being alone? Are you just being an individualist? Well, take a look at River of Night. You can look at that one and go, and so you're a bunch of loners, and that's when the gleaners show up and start beating your face in because, well, you still got parts. There's only 4 of you, and they got 300 guys in cars. What are you like? And are you smart, or are you going to fight? Or are you going to retreat? Are you going to find other people to be with? Are you going to try to regroup? Are you going to try to find other locations? You got to find people, find communications, reestablish everything.
That's the other thing. Do you want the setting to be positive or totally depressing, where every village you go to, it's cannibals? Or every village you go to are ex-military who are actually trying to reconstruct the world, and they let you into their little camp as long as you do work.
Yeah.
You have a skill of some sort, like they need engineers, they need teachers, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's at that point you're giving players what they players like adventure, like a chance to feel like they're influencing and fixing the world and making it a better place, or changing it, or choosing to be the villains. Like when you take away the structure of having law enforcement, having some greater fixture, players have to pick up the slack and go, what am I? What do I want? If there is no governing body to tell me no, what am I going to do? Some players are going to say, I'm going to become a pillager. I'm going to just ravage. I'm just going to be a gleaner. I'm going to look through the debris. I'm going to build and kill and take whatever I feel. I'm strong. I'm a hero. Or they could be the hero who saves people. These are aspects that you don't get to explore most of the time, because most of them are like, well, you got to go out and be a hero. No. Give the players a chance to choose what terrible choices, like what they want to be, and then let them run with it to its final conclusion, which might be them succeeding, having a heroic last stand on a dam, or fighting off the hordes, trying to save one little bit of society to maintain some point of saying humanity is not going off into the long night. It's just it's fun seeing what players will do in the face of total oblivion and going, if you die here, there's nothing. There is no continue. That's it. It's over. Do you fight hard? Do you want to do something more? And most players will choose to do the right thing. Some won't, but most will choose to do the right thing, and it's beautiful when that happens.
And there's 101 different aspects that you can get this thought processing from for ideas from movies like Mad Max.
Yeah, I was going to say Mad Max.
Yeah, what?
I was going to say Mad Max too.
Yeah, Mad Max, or video games like Fallout. Just to name the two popular. Well, Fallout's more popular right now than Mad Max, but Mad Max is really where it's at.
The other thing is that if you want to look at the other side of it, let's say you want to bypass that and go straight to the rebuilding Morrow project, that literally you're coming out of a bolt hole and you're trying to figure out what happened, what's going on. You're out of cryogenic sleep, and now you have to, something bad happened and put you into sleep, and now you have to, figure out how you're going to get all the equipment out and
What
start
was
to
it? They
rebuild
woke up too late
civilization.
or something? I can't
Yeah,
remember. I have that game. I haven't played it in decades, but you're supposed
I
to look
love
for
that game.
caches of weapons and things and maybe
Yep.
find another bunker somewhere and meet up
Well,
with
in
other
this,
people.
and see the
But
way
you woke
we
up
we
100
always
years too
played it.
late.
Well, see, we always played it in our local area, and we wound up traveling. We're Central Illinois, so we wound up traveling over to Indiana to like Grisham Air Force Base, over a bunch of the old military bases that were actually on. You can actually see them on the map right now,
Hey,
and use
that's our
those as
hometown.
Now, was it blown up in
your
the
statues.
game? Was that base blown up in the game? Because all the bases in California were gone on my map.
Well, the thing is that these were little armories.
Oh, okay.
These
There's
are
a
just
few of
little
those.
armories and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
there's a
yeah,
few of
that's
those
what we
around here.
used.
I kind of want to make the joke. Make sure your character stocks up on toilet paper, because shit tickets will become worth money.
Toilet paper is a right, not a privilege.
2-ply and 3-ply.
I mean, the last 3 years of doing the coronavirus, the first year, the biggest argument wasn't, "Oh my God, we're running out of food." It's like, no, we're running out of toilet paper.
So, Kai, how old were you when you first heard of an anti-hero?
Oh, geez. Early 90s, back when I was when it first came popular.
Yeah, for me, it was Mel Gibson in Road Warrior. That was the first time I'd ever heard that term before.
Oh, yeah, Mad Max, yeah.
He was the anti-hero. And I didn't know what an anti-hero even meant when I was a teenager.
I didn't know that term until I was early teens. So yeah, I knew Road Warrior and I really loved those movies, but I always just pictured Mel Gibson in both those movies as being not the anti-hero. He was just the gritty hero. But then again, I had also grown up. I had been weaned on a good collection of what's the Death Wish and other.
Oh yeah, I can go with some good Death Wish.
So when you're used to when you saw movies like that, that was another. Well, I just assumed angry police cop at the end of the world. That had to have been. Now, when I got older, I learned what the anti-hero was, and that became now it clicked. But yeah,
it was the 90s for me.
I was looking for an RPG system that would emulate like a Mad Max character. So I remember doing that in the 80s, looking for an RPG game.
What about using the Elric or Pendragon session stuff and running a Elric of Melbone style game? I know that's going back into fantasy, but you could use basic RPG from Chaosium to run any system, any genre. So you really could do that if you so choose.
Remind me about that game. Is the setting post-apocalyptic?
For fantasy, it was, I believe.
Like everything's ruins, like elven ruins and things.
Yeah.
Orc ruins. Dwarf ruins.
Yeah, there was nothing that was brand
new. Is that a thing, by the way? Did Tolkien invent that or something? Like, we have to go through this castle, and by the way, the castle's ruined. We have to go through this ancient city. Oh, by the way, it's vines and crap have grown all over it. There's monsters living there now. That kind of thing.
I don't know if Tolkien invented
Nothing's
that,
new
but it feels
in Lord
like
of the Rings, is it?
It feels like that's what it is.
But you're also
a set piece. We have a set piece we have to wander through, and there's going to be monsters that have been hiding here for years, and they're the original tenants since the people that this was made for have died.
Well, and the other thing is that you also have to realize that he wrote that post World War I. So he was in Britain. So if you look around Britain, you had a lot
that's
of
true.
older things that were
That's true.
overgrown,
Yeah.
that were abandoned and stuff like that. So that's where that inspiration came from.
That's right. I forgot about that. Now, Boy and His Dog, I saw that in the theater so many times. It was always double feature with something around that time.
Boy and His Dog.
And the
I
intro
don't-
for that film, it was like John F. Kennedy the third or something was president at the time when The World Ends.
Yeah, wasn't that a Harlan Edison movie?
Yeah.
No, considering most of the Kennedys are dead, we don't have to worry about that now.
It was kind of surrealistic in some points. I had to watch that a few times just to get my head around what was going on.
I really liked watching God try to smash Ted Kennedy for all those years. It was like God was playing whack-a-mole, and the damn thing kept standing back up again.
Well, that's the Kennedy curse. That's all that was. They all have a curse of some sort.
JFK had a sex addiction.
Okay, when you are accused of being attractive and your family has money, the sex addiction, that's pretty light. We got away pretty well for him not being like, I'm going to spend the entire treasury of the United States just for pussy. We got off on that one.
You know, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a great JFK story. The day it was about 3 or 4 weeks before he signed the embargo against Cuba, he sent somebody down there and buy as many Cuban cigars as you can. Buy me 100 cigars, right? The guy comes back up with like, I don't know, upwards of 500 Cuban cigars. And as soon as the cigars, a box was laid on the president's desk, he pulled out that piece of paper and signed it, entering the embargo against Cuba. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's kind of a cool story.
So I do want to ask Shauner and Kai this.
Yes.
When you two are, you guys don't answer this at the same time. I don't need the Mothra twins to do that, but I want you to when you're getting a sci-fi game ramped up, what are the key things you're doing for your attracting players phase? Like, I've got this idea. I'm going to pattern a gaming campaign off of this, and it's going to use this system. What keywords do you use? Because like we hit post-apocalyptic for a second there, and I'm kind of curious if you guys would use that, or if you think it'd be easier to do sci-fi or space opera. I'm truly curious about this.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay. Usually, I'm listening to what my players say, and my usual sales pitch is simply, "Hey guys, I got a sci-fi idea," and something like people perk their ears up. They're like, "Tell me more," and then I'll start explaining what I've got in mind, and I'll say it's going to be a mostly terrestrial-based sci-fi game, and they're all going, "Tell me more." Like they're suddenly interested because I'm going, "Okay, it's not traditional fantasy. Tell me," and I'll start working my way through it. And I go, "And this is what's going to happen," and you can start. And what game engine doesn't matter. Just come up with characters. Give me a backstory, like a good backstory. Here's the handout of what the current setting is like, and if you guys think it's a good idea, write up a paragraph, and I'll be happy. Just a basic idea of what you are. And then we'll make characters from there. And ding, I got everybody on board. And because all I got to do is say, or with certain people, is simply, "Y'all want to drive a spaceship?" And somebody will go, "Yeah, I want to try spaceships." And they get one player who goes, "I want to drive a fighter plane." Okay. And then my head, all I do is just change what the ship's going to be, the party's ship is going to be. It's like, so if I got one player who's like, this is what I got for a concept, they go, "Oh, so you want to play, Admiral Kane?" "Yeah, I can work with that. And suddenly, it's like my game now evolves from that point forward, and I'm like, all right. And my players all give me their concepts, and I just build from there. It's like I give them a loose idea what I've got in mind, which usually isn't much, but it doesn't have to be much because players don't need much to work with. And suddenly they're running, and I'm happy. That's all that matters, is that they're happy and I'm happy.
Hey, what I do is no matter what, we're going to use the Mongoose Traveler for the mechanic. And me and the players, in jest, will say, hey, let's try this one time in the next session. And I say, oh, what do you mean? Then we get serious about it. We start talking about maybe a setting, the theme. What's the theme going to be with the tone? What is it? Is it horror? Are we trying to freak each other out with this, or are we going to be, goddamn heroes or something? Or are we going to be citizens who have no powers whatsoever? We're just kind of trapped. We're in a totalitarian kind of a government, and we just have no say in what happens. We're on our own. We can be proles or we can be party members. So we talk about that, and then eventually we end up with the setting, and it might not be sci-fi. It may be dystopian. It may be modern day stuff. It may be like the new sun, which is like 1 million years from now on Earth, and the sun is dying out, and all the technology there is relics, and there's new stuff that's been made since then. Stuff like that. It's just, I guess the main thing is, for me, we have to redo all the careers for Traveler so it matches the setting that we're going to be in. Because it wouldn't make sense if we're not going to have space travel in our game. It wouldn't make sense to have space characters.
True.
Magistratum Undatus. That's it.
Then are there robots? What's the tech level? I mean, we're assuming there's internet going on, and there's do we have flying cars, or just regular cars, or no cars? There's no gasoline. Everyone's riding around. Everyone's riding around on homemade scooter things, bikes, moped type stuff, or
a bunch of characters who have no idea, no relation to each other, are all assigned by their grand employer to a job they're not trained for.
I wouldn't mind like a Futurama kind of concept where one reason or the other you're shunted in a cryogenic whatever, you're frozen for 1,000, 2,000 years, whatever, and you pop out and the Earth is not the Earth you left, or that you remember. It's 1987 when you accidentally fell into the machine. You're Mel Gibson in whatever movie that was. I think it would be an interesting concept for a game.
Sleeper?
No, it's an old 90s movie.
I do believe you just described the game Garrett was describing a little bit ago.
Yeah, I know. I was listening. I was putting a little bit more thought into that. I was just, working around my head.
I was thinking Woody Allen for some reason.
God, Woody Allen type RPG game. That would be bad. Quick.
I liked him in Zelig. He was a chameleon.
Ants.
I guess I would end up with in generic terms, or a general standard for a setting for me is usually the rich people have everything and the poor people are left in the radioactive wastes, looking for, digging through trash dumps.
That's the 70s that's a 70s sci-fi series right there.
That sounds like 70s or Battle Angel.
Star Trek, the 60s Star Trek had those themes a lot. The rich people live up in the stratosphere, and the poor people are the miners.
There was a movie that came out not so long ago that was kind of like that with Matt Damon and Jodie Foster.
Elysium.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I want that machine that heals you up. No matter what's wrong with it, it will fix you. I want...
Even Fifth Element had that sort of. The rich people go on their galactic cruises, and the poor people they're just down on the street level of New York City with all the
They
poison
listen to
fumes and
opera.
stuff.
The poor people are forced to listen to opera.
If I could open a window and have fresh Chinese food delivered to me by a guy at a hoverboard, I'm okay with this.
I'm going to say Altered Carbon is great.
The first season was.
You know, I've got to say that I look at the calendars of ancient civilizations and I just can't believe it, because it says the Chinese calendar goes back 3,000 years. I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive for the dynasties. That's awesome. And then I look at the Jewish calendars; they go back 6,000 years, and I'm like, I don't believe it. I can't see a Jew going 3,000 years before he gets his first Chinese food. I just don't. I just don't see that. Every one of my friends from the Heidelbergs, they're like, whenever they meet up with you, the first thing out of their mouth is, "Have you tried that new Chinese place over at blah 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 blah?" Because they want to go eat it. They want to try it. Oh, I really want to go. I mean, it's a new Chinese restaurant. We don't have enough of those in San Antonio. 50 of them closed during the pandemic. So
yeah, I wish there was a decent Chinese restaurant around where I live. I have to go to Peoria to find one.
We have a lot of Chinese restaurants here. What we're seeing now is a lot of Lebanese food trucks popping up in this area.
Lebanese has got some good food.
Yeah, I know.
Living in a town where the mascot used to be the Peking Chinks, you'd think there'd be more Chinese restaurants here. I'm just saying.
They stopped that in '78, though, didn't they? Wasn't that the year that they stopped the Peking Chinks?
Yeah, and they become the Peking Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And for those people that don't understand our references, this is an actual town in Illinois, Pekin, Illinois, named after Peking, China.
So they say.
I believe it. There's some really
something to do with railroads or something.
I don't know.
What year did the town start up?
I'll tell you in a second.
Garrett, you look like you have something to say, buddy.
You're muted. You're muted. Muted.
Boomer.
Start over. You're muted.
Still muted.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I said we're starting to get to be about that time, Bruce.
Yeah. We're after
where me and Kai turn into those pumpkins. So
yeah, I want to continue this topic on to next week because we talked about Star Trek quite a bit. We talked a little bit about other sci-fi, and I really wouldn't mind if Shauner wants to come back. If he's got Thursday night free, that'd be great. Because I think sci-fi is something that we haven't talked about on this channel a whole lot for TableBreakers. And Shauner kind of fits right in with that because, no offense, you talk a lot about Traveler. And only 2 people here.
I would talk about Serenity, but it's out of print. No one has that game but me.
Not for a while. I still have my copy. So, yes.
I actually have a copy. Well, let me rephrase
Serenity is another great role-playing game.
It is.
It's very similar to Mongoose Traveler, so that's my other go-to system.
Which is it?
If you don't mind, I'd like to talk about that game system next week, if we don't mind.
Okay.
So, sorry, to answer your question there, Shauner, the town kind of became a town somewhere between 1829 and somewhere around there is when it became a rural town. The first non-Native American person to live here was in 1824.
Okay.
After Peoria.
Well, Peoria was founded by the fucking French. So
yes, we were.
We are Peoria next to Market Heights.
I had once heard a rumor about Pekin, Illinois being directly across the world from Beijing, which is, I think, the origin of its name, because everybody used to call Beijing Pekin or something like that. I can't remember the actual origin of that. But it's pretty close because their north latitudes are right around 40. I'd have to do some math on the east-west coordinates to see if it's 180 degrees apart or not.
It's a very interesting
I thought
little
that was the
town.
origin.
It's a very interesting little town, and that's putting it nicely.
All right. So, boys and girls, I think we're going to call this one, and then we will pick it up next week.
If you don't mind, Shawner, can I just put your name and link in the chat there? If you could just give us like an elevator pitch of what you do. And I know you do a lot of really good Skyrim videos too, but
I got 5 different hobbies, and I crammed them onto my YouTube channel. So it's got role-playing games, computer art stuff, film editing, some other stuff.
Cool. Picking on blue
tutorial,
hair games.
like computer programming. I got a lot of videos on computer programming. One day I'll part it all out and have 5 different YouTube channels, but not now.
I personally like his intake of the new Space Jammers, Spell Jammers. I thought that was quite amusing.
To see that, because it caused a lot of problems with people, yours and Legion of Myth alike. It's great.
Oh, he's still catching hell about that yesterday. All right.
How it should be. You guys, if you make a product that looks like crap because it has a theme, but it tells you none of the details, nor does it tell you any reason why you should buy it, your product sucks. And then you have some Pat on your introductory video trying to show off her. It made me confused. I was so confused when watching because I didn't know what the focus was.
Don't confuse the Bruce.
What?
Don't confuse the Bruce. He gets violence and throws things.
Yeah, I do. I wanted to beat on them because, like, how dare you screw up what should be an easy sell? We're doing Treasure Planet in space on D&D Engine. Come on, kids, have fun. Nope, they don't do that. They don't do that at all. Stupid.
Well, when I watched the trailer on Legion of Myth, I totally got what the video was about. Because when I was doing it on my channel, I was kind of focusing on videotaping it while I watched it. So I wasn't getting a whole lot of what was happening in that little 30-second long trailer.
It's a fine because it was a joy to watch. It was a joy to watch you do your review on it.
Because I thought someone was
to watch Garrett. I knew he beat me to it.
I thought someone was in the crow's nest throwing messages in a bottle off the ship or something. But they just banged into one. But I still don't know what the deal was with the 2 people and the hamster. Was that hologram was current day or what from his childhood or what? The hamster should be dead.
Come on, D&D. Tell us what we need to know. These are very good questions.
You're not allowed to ask about the hamster.
And I still like the scene where they got those guys with the space helmets. That was kind of cool. I'm not used to seeing space helmets in D&D ever. Unless it's Star Frontiers, but I don't know if that was D&D. That could have been something else.
Well, they screwed up because they said for the first time in an RPG you can now play an ooze, and I thought the Draxolites from Star Frontiers.
Come on. Why do they say first time ever when they're lying? If you just do some Google search, you'll find that it's not the first time anything's happened.
It's just the same as whenever fucking Black Panther came out and the dumbasses at Disney Plus or Disney said, "Oh, we have our first black superhero." Yeah, because Blade was totally not a black superhero.
Or Meteor Man? Yeah.
Or Leonard Part 6, my favorite.
Well, hey, wait. What about Black Light or Black Dynamite? He was a superhero.
Dynamite! Oh, the Wayne Martin. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Shaquille O'Neal, Will Smith was Hancock.
Steel.
You can just go on and on
Yeah,
and on.
Steel. Yeah.
Steel
It was
wasn't.
such a good movie.
It really was. I mean, was. Anyways, I think it's that time, as Garrett says.
Let you guys
So,
do your sign off.
Bruce, I know that you got something going on this weekend that I'm a part of.
Yeah. I'll
Yes,
be
Bruce.
running
What do
my
you have
game
going on?
Saturday.
This Saturday.
Yep. I'll be running that at about 30 minutes after noon on the Central Standard Time. So if you guys want to watch me have some new players in the game and get them involved with trying to repel an invasion of giants and hobgoblins, go ahead and tune on back into this channel. And we'll be running the live stream for about 7 hours. I'm planning for about 7 to 8 hours. I hope you guys can last.
You could be playing Twilight Imperium.
I could. But
You have enough time to do that.
I've never played it before, so it's going to take me 4 times the amount of time that would normally be needed.
Well, I got his
And
campaign.
plus, you need a table that's like 9 feet by 6 feet.
I have a table
For all
that
the
is
parts.
actually suitable size for that.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the table I have it's 10.5 feet by 5 feet. And then on top of that, I have a 13 inches, 15 inches off of that table. I have another table that is 8 foot by 5 feet. And we put our battle mats on there for the game that I run. So we have our laptops or tablets underneath. Because I don't want to see wires on my table.
Those aren't wires, those are vines.
Yes, of course. All right.
Black vines.
Kai, what do you have going on there?
I'm going to be celebrating the fact that my last day of moving is on Saturday. And I should probably be able to sit in on your game on Saturday.
Holy moly. We got a Kai.
I will be watching. Will it play? Maybe. Watch.
Oh, Lord.
I have an idea for a character, but yeah.
Well,
I don't know if it'll work or not, so I wanted to at least watch a bit.
Poor Shadow thought this campaign was the all paladin campaign that we've been talking about for the last 12 years.
Oh, God.
No.
And with that, guys, I'm going to end the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for stepping into the session tonight. Mr. Sean Driscoll, I thank you so much for being a guest in our stream about science fiction gaming at your tabletop. And we will look forward to seeing all of you for TableBreakers next Thursday evening, roughly 7:45 Central Standard Time. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.